Definitely has been the most challenging year, both in and out of the car. There's been, I've got so many notes in terms of things that we need to improve on, and time will tell whether or not we act upon those things. And
what if the biggest problem at Ferrari isn't the car, but something much deeper? What if a 7-time world champion has already figured it out? And what if the truth is something Ferrari fans never wanted to hear? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand why one statement from Lewis Hamilton has reignited one of Formula One's biggest debates. But here's the twist. Did Hamilton really expose Ferrari, or are fans reading between the lines? Let's find out. Formula One has always been a sport where every word matters. Drivers don't just race at over 300 kilometers per hour, they also play a psychological game away from the track. Every interview, every radio message, every press conference can create headlines across the world. And when the speaker is Lewis Hamilton, millions of fans listen carefully. So, when Hamilton discussed Ferrari's current challenges and the difficulties of competing at the very top, social media exploded. Was he revealing Ferrari's biggest weakness? Or was he simply sharing the reality of how difficult Formula One has become? Before we answer that question, think about this. Why has Ferrari, one of the most iconic teams in motorsport history, struggled to consistently fight for championships despite having incredible resources, brilliant engineers, and passionate fans? Is it bad luck? Is it strategy? Is it pressure? Or is there something much deeper happening behind the scenes? Hamilton has spent years competing against Ferrari, studying them from the outside while driving for championship-winning teams. Few people understand what separates champions from contenders better than he does. Over the years, he has often praised Ferrari's history, its passionate supporters, and its incredible legacy. But he's also hinted that building a championship-winning team requires much more than speed. It requires consistency, trust, flawless execution, and the ability to improve every single weekend. Isn't that exactly where Ferrari has often struggled? Think back to races where Ferrari had the fastest car but lost because of strategy mistakes, communication issues, reliability concerns, or missed opportunities. Fans celebrated on Saturday after pole position, only to leave disappointed on Sunday. Why does this pattern keep repeating? Is the problem really the drivers? Or is the entire system under pressure whenever expectations become too high? That's where Hamilton's comments became so interesting. Rather than attacking Ferrari directly, he emphasized how difficult it is to build a winning culture in Formula One. Success doesn't happen overnight. Championships are built through years of stability, confidence, and teamwork. Could that be the hidden message everyone is talking about? If Ferrari's biggest weakness isn't horsepower but consistency, then fixing the car alone will never solve the problem. And here's another question. Why do championship teams like Mercedes and Red Bull often recover quickly after setbacks, while Ferrari sometimes seems to lose momentum? Is it because of leadership? Is it experience? Or is it simply the pressure of carrying one of the most famous names in motorsport? Imagine walking into Ferrari headquarters every morning knowing millions of fans expect victory every single race. That pressure can inspire greatness, but it can also create hesitation. Every decision becomes bigger. Every mistake becomes international news. Every missed opportunity feels like a disaster. Hamilton knows exactly what that pressure feels like because he's lived through championship battles where every tiny detail mattered. He understands that winning isn't about being perfect once, it's about being consistently excellent across an entire season. But here's where the story takes another twist. Some fans believe Hamilton was criticizing Ferrari. Others believe he was actually defending the team by explaining just how difficult their challenge really is. Which interpretation is correct? That's the beauty of Formula One. Sometimes the most powerful message isn't what someone says, it's what people think they mean. Social media immediately divided into two camps. One side argued that Hamilton had exposed Ferrari's internal weaknesses. The other insisted his comments were respectful and simply reflected the reality of modern Formula One. But regardless of which side you're on, one fact remains undeniable. Ferrari continues searching for the consistency that transforms race-winning pace into championship-winning performance. And perhaps that's the real story. Consider this. Every Formula One season creates heroes and villains, but history often reveals a far more complicated picture. Behind every missed strategy call are hundreds of people working under enormous pressure. Behind every disappointing result are engineers sacrificing countless hours trying to find a fraction of a second. Behind every driver stands an entire organization fighting against the smallest margins in sport. Could Ferrari's greatest weakness actually be the impossible expectations placed upon them? Or are expectations simply part of representing the prancing horse? Hamilton's perspective reminds us that success is never guaranteed, no matter how legendary a team may be. Talent alone isn't enough. Money alone isn't enough. History alone certainly isn't enough. Formula One rewards teams that adapt faster, learn quicker, and remain united when things go wrong. That's why the strongest organizations rarely panic after defeat. They focus on solving problems instead of searching for excuses. And maybe that's the lesson fans took from Hamilton's words. The conversation isn't really about Ferrari being weak. It's about understanding what separates good teams from great ones. Great teams don't eliminate mistakes overnight. They build systems that prevent the same mistakes from happening repeatedly. Isn't that exactly what Ferrari has been trying to achieve? As the season continues, every race becomes another opportunity to answer these questions. Will Ferrari finally silence the critics? Will they prove that their struggles are behind them? Or will Hamilton's observations continue to fuel debate across the Formula One world? One thing is certain. Every qualifying session, every pit stop, every strategic decision will now be examined through this very discussion. Fans won't just watch lap times. They'll watch for signs that Ferrari has solved the deeper issues people keep talking about. And if they succeed, the narrative changes completely. Suddenly, today's criticism becomes tomorrow's comeback story. That's why Formula One remains one of the most unpredictable sports on the planet. Heroes fall. Underdogs rise. Dominant teams lose their advantage. Struggling teams reinvent themselves. The story is never truly over until the final checkered flag falls. So, did Lewis Hamilton really expose Ferrari's biggest weakness? The answer depends on how you interpret his words. He didn't reveal a secret document or accuse Ferrari of one single fatal flaw. Instead, his comments highlighted a truth that every championship team eventually learns. Speed can win races, but consistency, teamwork, leadership, and relentless execution win championships. Perhaps that is the biggest lesson of all. And now the question passes to you. Was Hamilton exposing Ferrari's weaknesses, or was he simply describing the brutal reality of Formula One? Can Ferrari transform potential into dominance, or will the same questions continue next season? Share your opinion in the comments because this debate is far from over, and in Formula One, today's headline often becomes tomorrow's biggest twist.